This conference will now be recorded.
Okay. Good evening, everyone. Today is Tuesday, June 18th, 2024 at 5 o'clock. We'll have the call to meeting to order, Dave, if you would, please.
Yes. Mr. Crandall? Here. Mr. Mahoney?
Here.
Simcoe here. Mr. Deadline's informed us that he'll not be able to attend.
Okay. How about we stand for the Pledge of Allegiance, please? I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. All righty. Do we have any questions on the minutes, John?
No, I'll move it.
Okay, second.
Mr. Crandall?
Yes.
Mr. Mahoney?
Yes. And then any additions or deletions to the agenda this evening?
I'll have one item under 12.
On number 12?
Yeah.
Okay. All right. Well, I got a feeling, John, that we aren't here to talk about just the road department today for this crowd.
I'm taking names and I'll be even.
John's been telling me for a while, he goes, Neil, you're not going to do anything like this. And you know what? I only wish your wife Sue was here for this. So I'm going to miss you. You've been a great guy to work with. Let me tell you a little bit about John Crandall in case you guys don't know about it. You know, John? I knew this was going to happen. That's why I'm going to drag everybody in here. John, you've been giving back to our community for so many years. I just need you to sit back and relax and enjoy the ride for the next hour. Okay, please? Okay.
You never do anything by yourself, so.
I know. John Crandall was a lifelong resident of Sylvania Township and has served in numerous capacities throughout his community, always focused on building and improving upon the areas of education, economic development, land use planning, and park recreation. John utilizes both his experience and education for the local area. John graduated from Burnham High School and University of Toledo with a Bachelor of Science in Civil Engineering. For you guys, for who you don't know, John retired in 2006 from the County Engineer's Office. With over 30 years of service. During his tenure with the department, John was responsible for oversight of design and maintenance of operations along with management of larger scope projects throughout Lucas County. In 2014, he began his service as Sylvania Township Trustee prior to serving for 5 years as a member of the Sylvania School Board. In addition, John was a part of the inception of the Sylvania Area Community Improvement Corporation. Included in this role, he fulfilled a volunteer executive VP for over 20 years, also assisting hundreds of companies to locate and expand with both the city and the township as well. Mr. Crandall was also involved in the formation of Sylvania Area Joint Recreation District, and I didn't know this, but served as the first board president. Again, with a focus on education, Mr. Crandall served for 8 years on the Lord's University Board of Trustees. Thanks to Sue Nowak, because I'm a terrible writer. You helped me with the cliff notes here, so thank you.
Okay, I made a note of her name.
Now you get mad at Sue, all right? Not your sister-in-law, but your Susie Nowak. So we do have some elected officials. Just briefly wanted to say a few words here. Marcus Hanson is here from City Council. Bill Sanford, Economic Development. Mayor Stow. Who am I missing? Oh, hey, Mark, our City Council President. Mark, thanks for coming, you guys. Jill Johnson, school board is here, and any other elected officials I might have missed. Okay. Well, Mayor, how about something to say?
I've got a proclamation.
Love it.
John has been a role model for me since the beginning of my career in public service. Like him, we didn't make our livelihoods in elected office. Even though I've been in elected office for almost 40 years, it's a part-time position. And for John, his was with the Lucas County Engineer, but he has served the community in many ways in these part-time elected positions. He has solved problems for our community. He has guided the way forward in how to make Sylvania and Sylvania Township a better place to live with a higher quality of life. I have memories with John that go back before I was even on city council. I remember sitting down with him, with Stephen Kovach in the old Capitol Bank building, trying to find a way forward for Sylvania Area Family Services, or the Huntington Center at the time, to build a new building, because the old building was termite infested and the basement was flooding. And John sat me down with a legal pad and gave me a primer on how to break down a budget and make things work. And I've never forgotten that lesson, John. So I got a proclamation.
I did that up in the end anyway.
We got to do it. No, it didn't happen.
But I'm sure it didn't went from.
No, that's back when we had the opportunity to go after community development block grant funds, and we had to make the case to get it done. And with the CIC and your guidance, we were able to move that project ahead. So I got a proclamation here from the office of the mayor. I'm gonna stand next to you, John, and read that.
Thank you, Mayor.
Whereas John Crandall is retiring from his position as Sylvania Township trustee in July 2024 after serving 10 and a half years. And whereas as an engineer, John was Chief Deputy Director of Operations for Lucas County Engineering Department for 35 years and was involved in many important projects in the county, including the Millard Overpass in East Toledo, Veterans Glass City Skyway Bridge over the Maumee River, and the Dussel Drive interchange on Interstate 475. And whereas he served on the Sylvania Board of Education for over 5 years and served 8 years on the Lawrence University Board of Trustees. And whereas John has been a leader and very involved in many significant Sylvania projects. The formation of the Community Improvement Corporation in Sylvania, the development of Pay Center Park, establishment of our sister city relationship with Woodstock, Ontario, was the first president of the Sylvania Area Joint Recreation District, and was the first president of the Sylvania Metro Hockey Association. Now therefore, I, Craig A. Stallmayer, do hereby proclaim today, Tuesday, June 18th, as John Crandall Day in the city of Sylvania.
All right.
Let's hold it up and I think Bill was going to take a picture there.
Oh,
We got a little something for you too, JC.
oh,
I like that one better. No kidding.
Sean, let's hold it up so it's in the picture there. Yeah, there we go.
And Neil, who's up there? Thank you. Look for Sharon over here.
oh, okay. Here you go, Sharon. Thank you. Thanks, Neil.
Thank you.
I wish you well in retirement, John,
Thank you.
and I look forward to seeing you often during your retirement.
All good.
I will call you first.
Mayor, there's no doubt I'll be doing the same.
Okay.
That's all of our budget.
Thank you. I'm not sure if the folks that just signed in to say hello or just words of thanks. There's John Healy, Lauren, Brad, Dr. Rieger, Bob and Sue Crandall, Matt, Kristen Crandall, Maisie and David Crandall, Amy, Dan, and Zach Crandall, and Ken Catafias. So not only they're here, but there's some other folks that are here to wish you the best. So
Thank you, but I'd like to move on the agenda.
okay, I figured that's coming. All right, hey, this is your chance to get out of here, everybody. So thanks for coming.
Yeah, please
We're going to move on with the agenda, but you're more than welcome to stay. So
don't be worried about leaving, please. Thanks, man. Thanks, Jerry. Okay. Yeah, okay. It's all right here.
thanks for coming, you guys. Appreciate it. See you, brother. All right. See you.
Oh, thank you.
Hey, Neil.
David, I've been looking for you.
Can I say something?
Absolutely. Sorry, Doc, I sent everybody out. I apologize.
It's okay.
Thank you. Thanks, John. It's not that big of a deal.
Deals. How you doing, buddy? Yeah, good seeing you, man. All right.
Sad. Thank you. Great seeing you. She didn't pick it up. You said it closer. I said, don't you go away.
I'm sorry about that, Doc. I didn't mean to skip over you there.
It's okay. Well, John, all those roles that you, leadership roles that Neil listed, you always stepped up for the right reason. And your primary mission and the reason you stepped up into those roles is that you care about the greater good and you always wanted to make things better for individuals and organizations in Sylvania and Lucas County. And a lot of adjectives come to mind because you and I had the privilege of working together for 5 years. When I was superintendent, you provided me great counsel, just wonderful counsel. But 3 adjectives come to mind when I think of you, Jeff. First of all, you're a problem solver. In addition to that yellow pad and write things down, you're a roll up the sleeves type of guy, and you want it to be a positive outcome for whoever's being impacted. But you also wanted it to come in either under budget or on budget. Very much the fiscal steward with all the projects that you were involved in. Second characteristic is you just have a collaborative approach to you. You have a great understanding that decisions are better when you get everyone at the table who's being impacted by the decision. And you're a good listener and you took in all perspectives and then you made hard decisions with the other elected officials. And the last one, John, is integrity. You're an exceptionally straight shooter, trustworthy, and you just do things the right way. And so, John, thank you for your thoughtful and servant leadership over the years. Sylvania and Lucas County are better because you've been so involved in the leadership you provided. So thank you for showing us the way.
Well put. Well, I didn't mean to get ahead of myself. Is there anybody else who'd like to say a few words?
That's okay.
All right. Tom, brothers, come on up. Hey, Tom, do me a favor. You just state your name and address for the record.
Tom Crothers, 6055 Shadow Lake Drive.
Thank you.
In the township. John, this day is long overdue. I'm sure that your compatriots up at the dais there are very sorry to lose you. If I could offer one phrase that best describes John Crandall, it's a consummate public servant.
Yes.
For many, many years, I know John for, 50 years. He served on the board at TAMO. He ran the TAMO Pro Shop. He happened into my office one Sunday about 1985, 86. And we began to talk about what our problems were at TAMO. The problems were we didn't have enough space. We didn't have enough ice. And so the two of us kind of cooked up a deal. We got Carl Dorcas, as then city solicitor, to try to find us a section of the Ohio Revised Code which allowed for some sort of a special recreation district so that we could fund recreation and leisure activities now and in the future. And sure enough, he found one. And it was called a joint recreation district. And with the leadership of then Township Trustee President Bruce Warren, then Mayor Jim Seeney, and Gordon Huffman, who was the head of the school board, John and myself and some other public servants put it all together. And in 1988, we passed a levy, 88/100ths of a mil in 1988, 88 and 88.
No.
But, well, it didn't turn out that way. But importantly, John, by his leadership, said we need to show the community what we can do if we get funding. And we went through about a 1.5-year study called the Sylvania Area Recreation Study Committee. We involved all the community, and that was John's doing. He knew that we had a new political subdivision, and we needed to roll it out softly and show people what we could do. And we did. We did what John likes to call demonstration projects. And we rebuilt the ball diamond, for example, at Huntington Community Center. We put air conditioning in the senior center when it was the Burnham building. Things like that, where the township and the city popped us a little money and we were able to do a lot of things. Then when we got funding, of course, now we have Bay City Park, we have TAMO under the rec district, and we have Centennial Terrace. So all of that came because John popped into my office, and as a leader and a consummate public servant, he did what he always did. He led. John, thank you. You're a mentor. I love you. And by the way, Sue was always right there by his side.
Yeah, telling me not to run.
Sue,
She probably wanted me to run. She said, you're a nice guy, you're no politician.
well, that's true. He gets things done. That's what he does. He gets things done. John, thank you.
Thank you.
You're a mentor to me and a lot of other people.
Thank you.
Thanks, Tom. Okay, should we get onto the agenda, Mr. Crandall? Okay. This is, again, anybody feel like they want to leave, now's a chance. So, Rob, you want to come on up and tell us about the road department today, please? Evening.
Good evening. Just saying, I see somebody fighting with it, now I know why. Up here.
Tom's a little taller than you there, Rob.
Yes. I have a couple items on the agenda, and John, I also like to say, this is my last time publicly in front of everyone. Thank you for making my job that much easier. Coming into my office with that yellow notepad, sometimes I had to think about it a few times before I looked at it, but it was always something that I could take with me and utilize. So I appreciate your mentorship and your advice, and actually just making my job that much more pleasurable to be here and work for the township. So I'll drag it on. I'll move on. Resolution 24116. This is award the bid and enter into contract for the 2024 Trellis Way Storm Sewer Project. The bids went out. We had several bids, and the lowest best bidder was a Dirt Slingers Excavating for $93,000.
Any questions, John?
No.
I'll offer resolution 24116 to enter a contract of 2024 Trellis Storm Sewer Improvement.
Second,
Mr. Crandall?
yes.
Mr. Mahoney?
Yes.
Thank you. Next one, Resolution 24117. This is to authorize an award bid and enter into contract for the 2024 leaf pickup. That'd be A&J Landscaping. They kept their bid the same as last year, which was pretty good, $5.30 an hour.
Any questions?
Nope.
I'll offer resolution 24117 to go authorize to bid and enter contract for leaf pickup.
Second,
Mr. Crandall?
yes.
Mr. Mahoney?
Yes.
Last one, Resolution 24121. This is authorization to install temporary no parking signs. The director of the Toledo Botanical Gardens reached out. They're going to be having their festival, and they had received some complaints in the past about parking in the subdivision across the street. They asked if we would install these, and so this would be installed in Westmark Court, West Castle Drive, and Elmer Drive, just temporarily the 28th through the 30th.
Questions? Resolution, I'll offer 24121 temporary signs installment.
Second,
Mr. Mahoney?
Yes.
Mr. Crandall?
yes.
Thank you.
Thanks, Rob.
Thanks, Rob.
Okay. Chris, come on down. Evening. Good evening. Hi. Just a little bit of a tough meeting for me. I think there might be a couple people in here, but doing the math, I've known John Crandall 45 years. Wow. Back when him and Sue used to drop Bob off across the street from my house with the Jablonski boys, and we'd play street hockey all day. Sometimes late into the night, but it's hard to find somebody that you couldn't call Mr. Sylvania. Very tough. John, I wish you well.
Thank you.
Monthly reports for February through May were presented to you previous to the meeting. Do you have any questions?
I don't have any questions. Appreciate getting the reports, Chief.
Yep, absolutely. Then I'll have Oliver. Oliver's going to come up. We'll do Resolution 24-113. Resolution to place on the ballot an additional tax in excess of the 10 mil limitation for fire protection services in both the unincorporated and incorporated territory of Sylvania Township. Any questions? John, I think we all got a pretty good handle on this.
No, I do. I think so. Once again, I want to remind everybody we're pledging at least 6 years before we come back for any other increases. I think that's acceptable, right? I can tell you it's pretty tight from the numbers I've done, but these two guys can work it out. I know they can. Some things may have to slide a little bit, but we will keep our word on 6 years.
Correct, that's our pledge.
I'll move resolution 24-113, a resolution to place on the ballot an additional tax in excess of the 10 mil limitation for fire protection services in both the township and city.
Second.
Mr. Crandall?
Yes.
Mr. Mahoney?
Yes. Great. Before you got Resolution 24-114. We've had some obsolete radios, portable radios that we're going to do 12 of them, donate to Boy Scouts of America. They approached us earlier this year about getting involved a little bit more at the camp this year because COVID kind of died that off a little bit. So we're more heavily involved back at the Boy Scouts, and they asked if we had any radios, and as luck would have it, before we put them on gov deals, we had some, so they're non-compliant for fire service anymore. So I'll offer resolution 24114 to donate property to the Boy Scouts.
Second?
Mr. Crandall?
Yes.
Mr. Mahoney?
Yes. Thank you. Resolution 24-120 is an authorization to enter into an agreement for a medical oversight director for the fire department. We've historically had a medical director. Dr. Brookins has been our medical director for probably the last 10 years without any compensation at all. As you know, with this transition to EMS, the whole system, the county medical director is going to be going away. So he's developed his own corporation with oversight, his insurance, all that type of good stuff that's in that contract. So.
I'll move resolution 24-120, authorization to enter an agreement for a medical oversight director for the fire department.
Second.
Mr. Mahoney?
Yes.
Mr. Crandall?
Yes.
Thanks, Chris. Thanks for your kind words. Yep. Come on down, Oliver.
Good afternoon, trustees and fiscal officer Simcoe. John, thank you for your service, the kindness that was extended to me and my family when we came back to Sylvania. In addition to what everybody has said, just want to thank you for emulating civility in local government, for demonstrating accountability and fostering ethics, and really elevating teams, elevating people that serve local government in the interest of moving the community forward. certainly look forward to taking so many of those lessons and trying to apply it every day as a public servant. And of course, with public service being a family affair, always putting family at the forefront of mind. All of those reminders and lessons. Thank you very much. Glad to go into the first agenda item, Resolution 24-111, a resolution to contract with the Lucas County Prosecutor. The resolution in front of the trustees has been structured to provide for either a 1-year or 2-year agreement, as the board may wish. The cost would be the same, $105,000 per year. Glad to answer any questions the board may have.
I'd like to go 2 years.
Great, yeah. I think 2 years is the way to go.
Well, they're always available. when
They're
you
always
look at
available.
reports, every department.
They have expertise in government law. You know, government law is kind of a unique area of law, and not a lot of lawyers really, know governmental law. And the prosecutor's office represents most of all, or all the townships around. They represent the commissioners, the engineer's office where John used to work, every other entity the prosecutor's office represents. And so I think they've got a great deal of expertise, or if there's one unusual thing that we're working on, they will recommend good counsel for us and help us find someone. So they're a bargain, especially when you, and I'm one of them, lawyer rates these days, they will charge. We get a very good deal with the prosecutor's office, and they have their experience. So it's good for us, really good for us.
I'll move resolution 24-111, a resolution for a 2-year contract with the Lucas County Prosecutor.
Second?
Mr. Crandall?
Yes.
Mr. Mahoney?
Yes.
Next item is Resolution 24-112, a resolution updating the employee referral policy. This is a program that has been successful, very successful since its implementation. There have been 5 team members hired through referrals, 3 in fire, 2 in police, and 6 that are pending, 1 in fire and 5 in police. So if those pending team member hirings are approved, that would bring the total to 11. What's in front of the board this afternoon would clarify that candidates can indicate a reference during either an interview or on their application. And it also provides the referring employee 30 days after the new hire date for the new team member to submit the necessary paperwork. There were some timing questions, and this helps to clarify that, I feel.
Question, John?
No.
I'll offer resolution 24-112, employee referral policy.
This has been a good program. I vote yes.
Well, you seconded, John?
Seconded, yes.
Vote yes, okay.
Yes, please.
Okay.
Third item is Resolution 24-123. Recently, there was a meeting of the Lucas County Township Association, and through that meeting was a recommendation that Monclova Township Fire Chief Matt Omick serve as the representative for Lucas County Townships to the One Ohio Recovery Foundation Region 4 Board, and the boundaries of that board overlay with Lucas County.
I'll offer resolution 24-123, supporting the endorsement of representative of One Ohio Recovery Foundation. I'll offer resolution 123, supporting the endorsement of One Recovery.
Second,
Mr. Crandall?
yes.
Mr. Mahoney?
Yes.
Great, thank you.
Hey, don't we have this other one for the community purpose 124, or excuse me, 126 for Tara?
We do. In front of the trustees, this is the anticipated agenda addition. There are 2 separate resolutions. The first is Resolution 126, which pertains to the appropriation of funds for an organization serving a community purpose, the Stranahan Elementary Parent Teacher Association. And there is a secondary resolution which is related to the finances. If the board moves forward with this, that's on the dais in front of the trustees. That's resolution 24-127.
This, I knew this was going to be on the agenda because you called me and said it was going to be on. I think this is, at first I didn't think we should be spending the money, but then I think this is going to turn out to be a community project and we certainly should do our share. But it's a little loose right now as to who's going to actually elect the contract, I hope it'll be the school system because it's on school property. I hope they'll take the lead role. I know they've committed 50,000, but it hasn't been appropriated. Based on what I know, I think if it's a community project, we should certainly endorse it. And I think the 25,000 is a good number. I just think I'm not ready, in my mind, I'd like to know more about it. Well, I won't be here, but I think the board should know more about the project, who's going to let it, things like that. And it's a 650,000, according to Tara, I talked to her. So I guess I'd like to just say we commit 25,000 to a community project for Stranahan for this facility. It's not, this is a little stronger than I'm comfortable with, but
I mean, Tara, I could have been more moved when you came here a couple of months ago. I mean, you did such a beautiful job, and I was like, we gotta move this up to the front of the bus because you did a beautiful job. So I'll happily offer resolution 24-126, appropriate funds for the organization for community purposes.
second,
Calling the roll, Mr. Mahoney?
Yes.
Mr. Quinn?
yes.
Okay. And then, hey, Oliver, I don't know if this, what's 127? I guess I missed this one, sorry.
Right, so 127, this is an accompaniment to resolution 24-126.
Okay.
The resolution 24-126 provides the general framework and the determinations of the board relative to the inclusive playground project. This is on the backside, the resolution that would be needed to be approved for the fiscal department to make any future transactions.
I see, okay. I'll have for resolution 24-127, transfer of appropriations.
Do we really need this, do you think?
So this is the accompaniment. If this isn't approved tonight, it would need to come back at some point. And as administrator.
There's a lot of unknowns about who's going to partner on this project.
Right, so as administrator,
It's a lot of unknowns.
I'd be unable to execute the agreement without an appropriation now. Certainly the agreement itself could contain conditions to that.
Well, it seems to me when they come back with who's letting it and like, I don't know, is it going to be competitively bid? There's all kinds of things. And I feel we've made the commitment and I hope the future board will.
I'll keep an eye on it.
Yeah, I just think it's a little further uncomfortable with right now.
Move some money, John, into a.
Nothing against the project.
No, no.
I think the project's going to be like Bowling Green, where they have the whole community behind it. And we're with the city and township, we're not bigger than Bowling Green, so we should be able to do it here.
So I would think this just moves some money into an account. We're not writing a check yet, but it just parking enables it. It just parks in it. So if we would pass this, then the money would be in the
I'll second
account.
the motion.
Okay. Calling the roll, Mr. Crandall?
Yes.
Mr. Mahoney?
Yes. Thanks, Oliver.
Thank you.
Thanks for your kind words. All right, Dave, Simcoe, we've got a couple to go through here.
A couple things here, yes.
All right.
We have the fiscal report for the May 2024 analysis, and the significant things to note is that our revenue is actually up over what was projected in really all of our funds, and so we're doing well on revenue. But as we always talk about here, it's the expenditure side. How are we doing on our expenses and that, and how are we keeping within our budget? And at the end of May, we're doing much better on our expenditures, holding the line. It would normally be at this time 44.66%. And our expenditures are, in every department are below that. And so we always have, I mentioned it, but we always have this good cooperative relationship between the trustees and Oliver and the employees in the department and the department heads. It's not just the department heads, it's the employees that are responsible for these things that help keep our expenses in line and that they watch over it like it's their own money. They really do. And so that's all I have on the fiscal report. I do have a couple resolutions here, 24-118, and it's a township appropriation from unencumbered funds. As you can see from the resolution, which you saw, there's a whole host of things. We're moving money around and that. And so I'd ask you to pass this resolution.
I'll move resolution 24-118, township appropriations from encumbered funds.
Second.
Calling the roll, Mr. Crandall?
Yes.
Mr. Mahoney?
Yes.
And resolution 24-119, it's a transfer of funds and from the general fund to the capital project fund for the Sylvania Avenue pumping station and township building landscape to keep our building looking nice. And that, and so I would ask you to pass that resolution, please.
I'll offer resolution 24119, transfer of funds.
Second?
Mr. Mahoney?
Yes.
Mr. Crandall?
Yes.
And then we have an approval of ask you resolution 24-122. It's approval of payment on the then and now purchase certificate. And on that one, the state auditor who does our auditing for us with outside accounting firm, they didn't get kind of the bill in on time to us. And so we had to close our books out. And so then they've now submitted the bill and we're moving the money so that we can pay them and that on this.
I'll offer resolution 24122, approve payment of then and now purchase certificate.
Second?
Okay, Mr. Crandall?
Yes.
Mr. Mahoney?
Yes.
Hey, Neil, I have one more thing on,
Yeah, sure.
just on John. I met John, gosh, pushing now 15, 20 years ago. We kind of knew each other a teeny bit when he worked in the engineer's office and I used to do legal work for the engineer's office but really didn't know him at all. And I was contemplating running for Sylvania Township fiscal officer, but I didn't know kind of which way to go, which way to turn and that sort of thing. So I called a friend of mine, Mark Lutke, and if you know Mark, he's a very good person in that. And he suggested, why don't you give John Crandall a call? And that maybe he would help you. And so he gave me his number. I said, okay, I'll try it, but he doesn't know me. And then he said, well, just call him, just see what he'll do. And so I called him and I happened to get John. I caught him in Tennessee because he was on vacation, but he took my call from a stranger really. And we talked a bit. I told him what I was, well, first of all, he said, who's this again? And I said, Dave Simcoe, Mark Lutke suggested I call you. He said, well, okay. And took time on vacation to talk to me. And then he ended up saying that, how about when I get back, we can meet, we'll have some coffee or something to chat about a campaign for you. And John really, he knew a lot about these local campaigns and much more than I did. And he and I put up signs together. And when you put up signs with John, you just don't slap them up and it's a little crooked or something like that. You see them up there like that. No, John would insist that they be straight when we put them up. When you put on the zip ties, you didn't leave the tail of the zip tie hanging out there flapping around. You had to trim it off and you didn't let them fall to the ground. You had to pick them up and put them in your pocket and then keep going. And John really knew all sorts of people where I could put signs up. It was a great deal of help to me. And we've maintained a good friendship, very good friendship, really, for a whole number of years with he and his family, really. And so John's been a very good friend, kind of a mentor to me, and just as all these people said, an excellent public servant, never getting, not wanting to be out there in front. As John said, I'm kind of a follower. I'm not a real leader. I don't like being out in front. And he certainly hasn't been. So, John, thank you, John. And for allowing me to interview
Let me
you.
tell you the other side of that story. I'm down in Tennessee. He says, would you be my treasurer? I said, let me think about that on the way home. I don't know, because I didn't know Dave. And Dave says, well, today's the last day. I said, well, somehow we'll get through it. First thing that happened was, remember I turned in the reports and they cited me. They said, your numbers all seem to be right, but they're not in the right format. I said, don't worry, I've got a good attorney. Hopefully, I never did a treasurer's position after that, though. Anyway,
Well, you know, what I thought was good about that by getting John on there too, is because you gotta put who your treasurer is on your sign. And nobody knew Simcoe, but they knew Crandall. And I figured if they would know John, that would pick me up some extra votes in that. And so in addition to doing that, John really led the campaign. He just, and he gave a sign to me, and as I said, he really didn't even know who the hell I was. And but he was very good to me.
I'm still not sure. I mean, tonight.
All righty, well, I hate to say it, but it's time to adjourn, folks, at 5:51.
Can I add one thing?
Sure.
I've been following the commercial to residential growth. Last month, if you remember, was 50% of what it should be for every $1 million of, if you look at the balance of the community, for every $1 million of new housing, we should have 250 of commercial, and we're slipping on that. Last month, we only had 50% of that. This month, and again, it's 50%. That's going to be hard to make up. And long range, what it means is, if you don't have as much commercial as we have today, the taxes are going to, none of us want that. So I think that's something we're going to have to follow. And I don't know if Darrell would do that after I'm gone, but I think the board should certainly keep your eye on how our commercial growth is in reference to our residential growth. We certainly, we need both. And I think a 4-to-1 mix is pretty good. People still consider us a residential community, but that other quarter of commercial and industrial is really very helpful to our tax base and the school system.
Well put.
Hey, Neil? Yeah, can I speak under non-agenda items for
Yeah, sure.
just a minute?
Yeah.
I don't want to take a whole lot of time, but, since everybody's doing this nostalgic thing tonight, under this hat, I got a lot of gray hair. And none of it's due to John Crandall, but I must say that when I was just a young man, I was probably about 20, 21 years old, I worked up in the township zoning office in the old building. I used to walk up 28 steps every morning, come down every afternoon. And when I was at that time in my life, I'd have to pick up the phone and call somebody at the county engineer's office, this guy named John Crandall. Never knew him, never saw his face, just a guy you talked to on the phone. And then when I moved back here in 2019, because I was born and raised in Sylvania Township, John Crandall was one of the first people I actually spoke to, and got to also meet Dave Simcoe. And everything they say about John Crandall is absolutely correct. John is a dedicated public servant. And John, I'm going to say thank you to you. We appreciate you. We love you, as we do all of the folks that serve us here in Sylvania Township. And I know we're going to have a fire levy, and there's going to be people who will be for it, the people who can't afford it, there'll be people that will be for it. And I just want to say that our fire department, although it's a great service, everything is costly, but the equipment and stuff that we need for our fire department to properly serve a community, it's an amazing service. And I know not everybody understands it, but as I've gotten older, I've had to use it. And as a disabled American citizen, I must say that our fire department people are very professional. They do their job, they do it well, and there's a lot of training involved, and it's not inexpensive. But based on, John will know what I'm saying here, per capita cost for what we as taxpayers pay, everybody knows we're second highest taxes in Lucas County. We're probably highest on a per capita basis. but we also provide very good service to our residents. So I encourage everybody to vote with their hearts on November 5th, and hopefully they'll support our fire department. And all of our departments here deserve a big thank you, and I just wanted to say that. Thank you much.
Thanks, Lauren.
Can I get the last word now?
Yeah.
No, no, adjourn, I'll move to adjourn. But, I've been here 10 years, and Neil, you've been here, what, 12?
13, yeah.
John's been here
A little bit
14 or 15. But that's a lot for an elected official, but we don't drive the snowplows. If you look around the employees, Dave knows us, and we all know it. Most of them been here longer than 10 years. They're the ones that are out every day doing the work. And I just want to recognize not only that school board, the bus drivers, the teachers, they're the ones, we all get elected and you get on a board and you try to give them direction, but they're the ones out there every day doing the work. So I'll move to adjourn at 5:45.
Well said, John. I'll second that.
Calling roll, Mr. Mahoney.
Yes.
And Mr. Crandall.
Yes.
All
Thank you.
right. Thanks, everybody, for coming tonight.